What's up guys, it's T-Tar and today we're going to be talking about the 6-letter creature that Sarantura discovered in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now obviously the idea going around with this Pokemon is the whole time they were talking about Terapagos. The real Sarantura have been dead for years. We imagine they knew answers far beyond what we know, and that's why we could only speak to the AI, because if it was the real Sarantura, we'd already have all the DLC info early. In fact, how interesting would it be if information about the third legendary was just cut off from the AI? Like, as much as Sarantura needed someone they could trust, so they made a copy themselves, that they were so crazy they didn't even trust that, and they still blocked off certain information. I'm just saying, look how little the AI Sarantura really tell you, when clearly the scope is much bigger. They didn't mention a word about Terapagos. Now I made a video a couple days ago about Terapagos not being the third legendary Pokemon, and my main reason for saying this is because Terapagos is described in these screenshots as having hexagonal interlocking plates. Let me open up Heat's book as well. He also describes it to have hexagonal interlocking plates. I mean, you gotta fix the wording he used because the book is smudged, but he says the same thing. There's no way Terapagos can be that because Terapagos only has one hexagonal plate. One of you guys sent me a tweet saying, well T-Tar, if you combine the many pentagons, you can technically make a hexagon. But that's a weird hexagon, where half of it are small edges. There's no way this is what Sarantura were talking about. Alright, future teacher here, let me roast this a bit more, okay? The hexagons that Heat saw are literally normal hexagons. Why would they group 3 random typings to form an irregular hexagon? Look, here's Terapagos. We're gonna randomly group Fairy, Electric, and Grass. And if you still don't believe me, look at the hexagons in the logo. Do these look irregular to you? These are normal ass hexagons. This is what Heat described. City boys up still, I'm dying on this hill. And look, okay? Heat says overlapping. What part of this man is overlap? So these suckers spread so far apart. I'm just playing, keep going. I'm here to tell you I'm doubling down on this idea, and I will die on this hill that Terapagos is not the third legendary. But before you call me crazy, I'm gonna start off giving you one idea of why I think this, and then we'll go through some of your guys' theories, and then we'll end the video off solidifying why I think this. And there's 3 main points I got for this. The first one I've told you already, it doesn't have interlocking plates, and the second one is that Terapagos is not 6 letters long. The creature Sarantura described is 6 letters long. Even if you use its Japanese name, Terapagos, 5 letters. It don't fit. The third reason, I'll tell you at the end of this video. But first, what could those 6 letters be? One of you guys sent me a cool idea for this. Hiro Nakazawa. He had 3 names that could fit here. AI Sada, but the best name is Paldea. Would it be crazy to say Sada in her notes was talking about Paldea's shell, as in this giant turtle that carried Paldea, but you just refer to the whole region itself as a living creature? There's a 6-letter long name. And in truth, it could have just been Sarantura who was researching in Area 0, realized Paldea is on a moving turtle, and that's just their name for the turtle. They consider the region and Pokemon as one and just call it Paldea Shell. I love this idea. I'm gonna let this sizzle in your head, and then at the end of the video, I'll tell you my discovery. Let's look at some of your guys' theories. Here's Jay Retrodon. Jaden has an idea here that Terapagos' name can be divided a bit differently. Instead of Terra for Earth and Galapago, which is Spanish for turtle or tortoise, that you can split it as Terra, as in terrestrializing, and then Apago, which means in Spanish to turn something off. So maybe Terapagos has the ability to turn off a Pokemon's typing. I mean, listen, Terapagos is the jack of all typings. Either he can turn you into a normal type or turns you into the question mark type, which means you just resist nothing. Unless Game Freak introduces like a non-type where you're just weak to everything, and that's what happens when he takes your typing away, I don't think this could happen. If you look at Terapagos, he's giving little room for Game Freak to introduce new types later, but a non-type kind of bypasses that. Here's another one of you guys, McFence Spence. So he has an alternative take on how he could have seen the Paradox Pokemon 200 years ago, before Sarantura brought them out. Something that doesn't have to do with time travel or the third legendary. And he's saying, what if it's the Herba Mystica? What if normal Amoonguses that lived in the crater, when they eat the Herba Mystica, something triggers and they turn into Brute Bonnet? You gotta wonder, does Herba Mystica serve a bigger purpose in the story? I mean, Heath writes about it in his book. There is some lore here that they originated in the crater and that Heath took them and planted them around the region, and that's what caused Titan Pokemon to appear. What if in the desert, it was a bunch of Donphan that were there, and just one of them ate the Herba Mystica there, and on the surface turned into Great Tusk or Iron Treads. I mean, if you go to the desert in that area, there are normal Donphan there too. There are very few places in the game that you see both the original form and the Paradox form together. Think about it. For example, in Area 0, in Scarlet you see numerous of Hydreigon's line, but in Violet you only see the Paradox version. It's like in one game they ate the Herba Mystica, in the other game they didn't. Okay, so to talk about why I don't believe in this, they'd have to explain what's in the Herba Mystica that could cause this. Maybe some of the third legendary's power is in it, and so that's how we can transform them mechanically or revert them. But you never know, maybe this DLC will change what Herba Mystica means to us. Maybe that weird ogre is related to something else you can do with Herba Mystica. Alright, here's another one of you guys, a cheesy guy. So his idea here is, what if in the first DLC, where we have the story of Momotaro, bird, monkey, dog, who befriend Momotaro and they fight and beat up the Oni. What if the three Pokemon, they look so ugly, it's because they're literally from a children's book, and it's the third legendary going by the dream theory that brought them to life, brought this entire fairy tale to life. Then he ends off talking about if maybe Ogerpon's mask is something it stole from the dream Pokemon in Area 0. And if you look at the mask, it has some crystals in it, and with both DLCs being under the header of hidden treasure of Area 0, you'd imagine Ogerpon and that mask have to have something to do with Area 0. Another reason why this idea is cool is because the three uglies' names are so childish, have very kid-friendly puns. We have Monkey Dory, which originates from Hunky Dory, and then monkey. We have Okie Dogie, which is an Okie Dokie doggy, and then we have Pheasantipity, a pheasant and serendipity. Oh, they're so ugly, man. Who is this? Yo, is that the gorilla? I have to know if that's the ass that he saw in Area 0. Does he eat Herba Mystica and bulk up or something? He's so fricked. Okay, y'all know me, I'm against the dream theory, but the idea that someone, maybe a kid, kind of like getting the rainbow wing, he had a little bit of the third legendary's power, if it's a dream Pokemon, and he wanted the story to be real, so he made it real. He brought the entire story to life. Y'all let me know in the comments. Alright, that's enough of your guys. Let's go back to my detective work. So, are you ready to find out and hop on board with me that Terapagos is not the third legendary? Let's go over the 3 reasons again. Reason 1. Terapagos does not have interlocking hexagonal plates. Reason 2. Terapagos' name is not 6 letters long. Reason 3. Here's the question. The 6-letter name that Sarantura found, are they referring to the living region as Paltia, as a giant turtle called Paltia? Alright, so I decided to form a little test to really get to the bottom of this. Let's play devil's advocate here. There ain't no other turtle. Terapagos is the only third legendary. Why did Sarantura call it 6 letters long? There's an explanation to this, which is that it's just a placeholder. It didn't have to be 9 letters long, it was just a smudged out name, and as a placeholder, it's referred to as 6 letters. So I thought, what is one way we can test this to really find out if it's a placeholder or not? So I loaded up my game in Japanese. Hey yo, your boy's too good. So let me show you the footage of me loading up my game in Japanese. I go into Area 0, I talk to the book. So, if it's a placeholder name, regardless of what language you play this in, it's gonna be 6 letters long. Terapagos, it's 5 letters in Japanese. Terapagos, it's 9 letters in English. If the language doesn't matter, it would be a 6-letter placeholder. Look at the footage. It's 3 letters long. I just freaking confirmed this myself. Bro, it's not Terapagos. There's no way they're talking about Terapagos. Why would the size of the name change depending on the language you're playing? It's because Game Freak knows the name and they change it to fit each language. So let me translate this Japanese sentence for you, because I'm actually 180 Japanese. The general translation is, the presence of the blank, as it's tentatively called, is causing the energy to crystallize, and we attribute this to the multi-layered hexagonal structure of the blank shell, which we named the phenomenon Terrasto. Hexagon is in there even in Japanese. We know this entry. This is the same entry here in English. This is why I don't watch YouTube, guys. Find your own ideas yourself. This is a smoking gun right here that proves my theory. Terapagos is not the third legendary. There is a bigger Pokemon that might be underneath Paldia right now that Sarantura discovered. And Terapagos is just some small turtle. He looks like a baby. It looks like Paldea is a giant mother Terapagos, and its baby is in Area 0, and Heath and whoever's evil in Blueberry Academy is gonna sit here poking it and piss it off, and it's gonna demonstrate like a fraction of its mother's power. Maybe we don't even fight the giant turtle in the DLC. Maybe it's always gonna remain this peaceful turtle that Paldea is just on, and Terapagos is the real boss we end up fighting. But it still exists as a different Pokemon, and it's that Pokemon shell that made the Terra Orb. Also, when I look at this part of Heath's photo, this part here accounts for Terapagos, right? But what about this part down here? This could be seen as a giant orb, a giant egg, or maybe if this part is Terapagos' shell, as seen on its artwork, then what if this is the shell of a giant Terapagos? I think when he mentions in a previous page that he separated from the crew and met someone in an unfamiliar place in a dream, that this drawing is that dream. And so he draws what he remembers, which could be a vision of Terapagos' existence, but he might have missed the part where this is actually a giant turtle. This is my theory. Sodom Toro discovered a giant Terapagos that's actually carrying Paldea, and the DLC, in a cool way, instead of going after the alternate Crozma or Eternatus of this game, we're gonna go after that Pokemon's child and piss that off, and that's gonna be the final boss. What this also confirms is that the turtle's name is not Paldea, because Paldea is 6 letters in English, but it's Parudea, it's 4 letters in Japanese, so that don't fit. Maybe we never learned the name of the other turtle, but at some point in the DLC, they'll make a connection and tell us that that's a different turtle. There is an actual mother turtle carrying Paldea. Alright, it's been like a week since I recorded this video. Trust, I got too lazy to edit it, as I do like half my videos. But listen, I did more research and I'm going to share it with you. But first, I need y'all to help me with something, alright? Anytime I make a video, it is funny to me, like 5 minutes after I upload my video, people on Twitter are independently coming to the same idea. Or you go on YouTube, which people just show me screenshots, and people are talking about it as if they came up with it. So like, y'all can't credit me, man? It's so sad funny. I mean, this is nothing new. People have always done this, but this ain't fair, man. I put too much research into this crap. Because in truth, I mean, as funny as it is, half the time I do find something, I end up keeping it to myself. Because I'm not trying to feed everyone content, man. I got stuff to do in a day than do your homework. After this video goes up, if you go on Twitter or other people's videos and they're covering this like they came up with it, I need you, we're going to form the T-Tar police. I need you to clown emoji them. Anyhow, so I came to a realization about my theory. And that realization is that maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe even the 3-letter name is a placeholder. So let me tell you what I did. I went back and loaded my game in every single language that there is. I loaded it in English, Italian, and Spanish, and I read the book. It's a 6-letter long name. I loaded it in Japanese, Chinese Simplified, and Chinese Traditional, and it's 3 letters. Which means maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's just 2 types of placeholders. One where in the Asian languages where every letter is different, they just condensed it to a 3-letter name placeholder, and then a 6-letter placeholder for our longer languages. So I loaded in Korean, and that's also 3 letters. So damn, I could be wrong. It's just placeholders again. So then I loaded in French. 5 letters. I loaded in German, 5 letters. Nah. They ain't placeholders, dog. They're actually different. We got 6 letters, 3 letters, 5 letters. They're different. Whether they reveal this name or not, Terapagos and the Pokemon Sodom Toro discovered are not the same. Listen, I'm always having fun and like diving into the games and trying to find things out. Half of the time I keep it to myself because I'm not trying to do people's homework for them. I just talk to them with my friends in real life. But if y'all just stop ripping my stuff, I'll be very happy to share more of it. Anyhow, shank that like button. I gotta go do something right now. So I'll research more into the game, update you on other cool things I find if I feel like it. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.